Hi, I'm Kenneth WAJDA. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photography talks. So I don't get to use this on a daily basis, but this is a Speed Graphic 4x5. And I like this camera. Again, I've been talking about the Mamiya 2.3 recently. This is the Speed Graphic. This is the camera that, was the press camera. It had the big lightsaber flash gun on the side of it, and everybody used them in the press to document the news because they needed a large negative to get a good quality print in the newspaper. And 35mm wasn't quite as popular or considered as good, but you still had to use film holders. So I have a film holder in here. So my idea is to carry this camera with one film holder with 2 frames, but then to use it like a walk-around camera. Again, I've been talking about my Zone 6 and my Ebony camera, and those are really wonderful cameras for a really slow process. But my biggest concern is I don't typically photograph the kinds of things that need a slow process. This has something that those don't have, and this has a Viewfinder System, which I had no idea that this was so valuable. This shows me the approximate frame. So does the Viewfinder. And it's got a rangefinder, so I can get focus through the rangefinder. And this is actually a very, very useful frame guide because it really gives you a sense of what you're going to get. And it's such a simple little thing. But again, it doesn't allow you to change lenses if you're going to use that. But if I'm using this, it's got a 135mm Optar 4.7 lens, Graflex lens. It's probably not the greatest quality. It's probably a Tessar style lens. But if I'm walking around in the street and I'm photographing people and I want to create a 4x5, I have a photograph that I made with this of a local shop owner. I'll put that in the links below. But I like the idea of being able to walk around. And also, so my idea was, okay, there are a few things I want to shoot in 4x5, even my friends, but I can put this away. I can leave the film holder stored in it. And now when I go out, it's all ready to go. It's just this one thing to carry. I don't want to put it in a case. I don't want to make it bigger and bulkier. I just want to carry this. And now I'm ready to go and photograph you with a 4x5 camera and get a black and white negative I can hand process. And I have everything I need right there in my hand to do it. And I don't need to put it on a tripod. I can shoot it at a 500 at f8 or f11 if the light is strong enough. And I'm actually able to work with in a way that is freeing from the fact that I don't need the black cloth and I can still shoot 4x5 in the field. So I'm not using the tilts and the swings, obviously, like the Ebony and the Zone 6 would give me, but it's one of those things where I like shooting people. And there are people I want to photograph at different places I go, and to have the 4x5 with 2 frames, talk about a minimalist, carrying 2 frames with me, but they're already in that place, so I don't have to even carry a separate bag with film holders. I would only bring 2. And then I would love to see a whole gallery of photographers shooting 2 frames. Go to an event and shoot 2 frames. Go anywhere and shoot 2 frames of anything. It could be horse races, it could be grandma's portrait, but it would be a fascinating thing to see what photographers could do with 2 frames. All right, that's my talk on my Speed Graphic 4x5. These are really quite inexpensive too. I think I picked this up for around $180, and he gave me a big Temba case with it and a bunch of film holders. And I think that they're more like $200 and $300, but still, they're not that much. This is a Speed Graphic, so it's got a focal plane shutter right in here. That adds weight. If you can get the Crown Graphic, get that one, because that one's a little bit lighter weight. It has just the leaf shutter in the lens. You don't need to carry the extra weight of that focal plane shutter. And then the last thing I could recommend is if you can get a Kodak Optar lens. That was considered the cream of the crop lens back then, and this doesn't have one, but I'm not always looking for, crazy critical sharpness. I just want pretty good critical sharpness, and a 4x5 gives me that, and this certainly gives me this. But I guess if I saw between that and the Optar might be like the Leica of the quality commercial lenses. That's what they call those. So maybe I actually every once in a while I look around and see if I can find an Optar lens, and if one comes into my consciousness maybe on a crown graphic, I might look into picking that up, because then I would get not only the Optar lens for both bodies, but also have the ability to carry a lighter camera, the crown graphic. And then I think there's a later version called the super speed graphic, which the later you go, the more they gave you better rangefinder, better viewfinder, better accessories. So if you can afford a 4x5 camera, I buy my film at B&H. I buy Arista EDU. I can get 500 or 50 sheets for $35. So it's under $1 a sheet. And then I process it myself. So I don't see how 4x5 is all that expensive. And if I can do it, you can do it. And like I said, I'm really a fan of being able to create a big negative in a handheld package. And something that's actually quite small, even though it's not the lightest thing, but it's not such a bear either. It's got a handle. All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, do you shoot 4x5? Have you shot a speed or a crown graphic? Post your comments below. I always welcome those. And thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit the Patreon if you can support in any way. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.